Risk to CIA, physical loss and facility management. There are 7 major sources of physical loss. Firstly, we have temperature, where there is an extreme variation of heat or cold, such as sunlight, fire, freezing, and heat. Secondly, we have gases, which include war gases, commercial vapors, humidity, dry air, and suspended particles. Examples of these would be nerve gas, PCP from exploding transformers, air conditioning failures, smoke, smog, cleaning fluid, fuel vapors, and paper particles from printers. Next, we have liquids, whether it be water or chemicals such as floods, fuel leaks, precipitation, plumbing failures, acid and base chemicals used for cleaning, or computer printer fluids. Fourth, we have organisms, which include viruses, bacteria, people, animals, insects. Examples of these are molds, contamination from skin oils and hair, contamination and electrical shorting from defecation and release of body fluids, consumption of information media such as paper or cable insulation, and shorting of microcircuits from cobwebs. Projectiles are our fifth major source of physical loss. Projectiles are tangible or powered objects in motion, which includes meteorites, falling objects, cars, trucks, bullets, rockets, explosions, and wind. Movement includes collapse, shearing, shaking, vibrating, liquefaction, flows, waves, separation, and slides. Examples of these are dropping or shaking of fragile equipment, earthquakes, earth slides, lava flows, sea waves, and adhesive failures. Our last major source of physical loss are energy anomalies. Types of electric anomalies are surges or failure, magnetism, static electricity, aging circuitry, radiation, sound, light, and radio microwave. Examples of these include electric utility failures, proximity of magnets and electromagnets, carpet static, decomposition of circuit materials, decomposition of paper and magnetic disk, electromagnetic pulse from nuclear explosions, lasers, loudspeakers, high-energy radio frequency, guns, radar systems, and explosions. Facility requirement planning describes the concept of the need for planning for physical security controls in the early stages of the construction of a data facility. There might be an occasion where security professionals are able to provide input at the construction phase of a building or data center. Some of the physical security elements involved at the construction stage include choosing and designing a secure site. Choosing a secure site. The environmental placement of the facility is also a concern during initial planning. Security professionals need to consider such questions as visibility. What kind of neighbors will the proposed site have? Will the site be marked as sensitive? Low visibility is the rule here. So we'll make sure that the site is not easily recognizable. Secondly, we have local considerations. Is the proposed site near possible hazards, for example, a waste dump? What kind of local rate of crime, such as forced entry and burglary, is there? Natural disasters. Is it likely that this location will have more natural disasters than any other locations? Natural disasters can include weather-related problems such as wind, snow, flooding, and so forth, and the existence of an earthquake fault. Choosing a secure site. Transportation. Does the site have problems due to excessive air, highway, or road traffic? Joint tenancy. Are the access to environmental and HVAC controls complicated by a shared responsibility? A data center might not have full access to the systems when an emergency occurs. External services. Do you know the relative proximity of the local emergency services such as fire, police, hospitals, and medical facilities? Designing a secure site. Information security processing areas are the main focus of physical control. Examples of areas that require attention during the construction planning stages are: firstly, walls. Entire walls from the floor to the ceiling must have an acceptable fire rating. However, closets or rooms that store media must have a higher fire rating. Secondly, ceilings. Issues of concern regarding ceilings are the weight-bearing rating and the fire rating. Thirdly, floors. Includes concerns about the slab and the amount of weight it can handle. This means that there is commonly 150 pounds per square foot in a slab and its fire rating. Fourth, windows. Windows are normally not acceptable in a data center. If they do exist, however, they must be translucent and shatterproof. Our fifth area that requires attention during the construction planning stage are doors. Doors in the data center must resist forcible entry and have a fire rating equal to the walls. Emergency exits must be clearly marked and monitored or alarmed. Electric door locks on emergency exits should revert to a disabled state if power outages occur. This enables safe evacuation. While this may be considered a security issue, personal safety always takes the precedence, and these doors should be manned in an emergency. Sixth, sprinkler system. The location and type of fire suppression system must be known. Examples of sprinklers are fixed, rotating, or misting. 7. Gas lines. The location of shut-off valves to water, steam, or gas lines must be known. Drains should be positive and flow outwards so they do not carry contaminants into the facility. 8. Cooling. Air-conditioned units should have dedicated power circuits with outward positive air pressure and protected intake vents. This allows the toxins to be carried away from entering the facility. 9. Electrical. The facility should have a established backup and alternate power source. Dedicated feeders and circuits are required in the data center. Security professionals should check for access controls to the electrical distribution panels and circuit breakers. Audit trails. An audit trail or access log is a record of events. A computer system might have several audit trails, each focusing on a particular type of activity, such as detecting security violations, performance problems, and design and programming flaws in applications. The domain of physical security, audit trails, and access control logs are vital because management needs to know where access attempts exist and who attempted them. The audit trails or access logs must record the following. Firstly, the date and time of the access attempt. Secondly, whether the attempt was successful or not. Thirdly, where the access was granted, for example, which door or computer. Fourth, who attempted the access. And lastly, who modified the access privileges at the supervisor level. Some audit trail systems can also send alarms or alerts to personnel if multiple access failures attempts have been made. Audit trails are detective rather than preventative and do not stop an intrusion. Although if some persons know that an audit trail of the entry attempt is being compiled, it may influence the intruder to not attempt entry. Audit trails do help an administrator reconstruct the details of an intrusion post-event. Emergency procedures. The implementation of emergency procedures and the employee training and knowledge of these procedures is an important part of administrative physical controls. These procedures should be clearly documented, readily accessible, including copies stored off-site in the event of a disaster, and it should be updated periodically. Elements of emergency procedure administration should include the following. 1. Emergency system shutdown procedures. 2. Evacuation procedures. 3. Employee training, awareness programs, and periodic drills. Lastly, periodic equipment and systems test. Administrative personnel controls. This encompasses those administrative processes that are implemented commonly by the Human Resource Department during employee hiring and firing. Controls implemented by HR often include the following: pre-employment screening, ongoing employee checks, and post-employment procedures. Pre-employment screening. Pre-employment screening is designed to verify information supplied by candidates on their resumes and applications. This includes previous employment references and educational history. Background investigations are also conducted to uncover character flaws, criminal tendencies, or credit ratings. Ongoing employee checks are done to verify security clearances if the employee is to have access to classified documents, and reviews are conducted by their supervisors based on performance. Some checks are done because people change and may develop a way to beat the system. These checks are done to ensure that they are not doing any of these. Post-employment procedures. Post-employment procedures include exit interviews. Interviews may be used to brief the ex-employee of the risk or punishments that can happen if they leak any sensitive information after employment, as well as various other procedures. It is also done to get feedback about their time working at the company. During post-employment procedures, the employee is removed from the network, equipment that was issued to them is returned, and any passwords are erased. Then